Our friends asked us for some heavy weather training and some night sailing. We were pretty sure the sun would go down and we'd be able to handle that. Not so sure about the heavy weather. Well, nature obliged the clients, and we had nearly gale-force winds most of day one. Passing the breakwater Channel Islands, it clicked right up to 30 knots. Day two was a tad more interesting, starting out with gale-force winds and increasing as we made our way up the north side of Santa Cruz towards Forney's. Here we are going through the potato patch, which was never hairier, and into Forney's. Next day, even more interesting. Hi, Captain Dan here between Christie Ranch and Kenton Point. Why would we be there? We've never been here in 10 years of sailing the Channel Islands. And the reason is we were blown out of Forney's this morning by a northeaster, really a full-blown Santa Ana, which came up in the space of about 15 minutes from the time it felt like a hairdryer, as the crew said, till it was blowing 20-25 knots. Our anchor was holding well. There wasn't a problem. We were on a riding sail, and we were fine, except that we were on a lee shore and backing up to it at a pretty good clip. So we got out in a hurry and came down here. This is not in Fagan's book. It's on the plastic chart that we use as a backup. And if you take a look out here, go ahead and pan out there, Dennis. There's certainly a lot of salt on the camera. We got our hook down just off the northernmost point, right about where the S is on the chart. So we're in 50 feet of water. We could have gone in closer, but we don't believe that it would have been a much smoother ride. The wind out here was 20 to 25 knots, certainly within our capability, and there's a current running out of from the east, going west, that steadied us up quite a bit, so we didn't even need a riding sail. So if everything works out just right, we're going to scope out some other refuges from Santa Ana over at Santa Rosa Island. We'll see you over there. See you on the water. We took our time getting over to Betcher's, looking for whales that we'd seen the day before, but no luck this time. It was calm, and by the time we got there, the wind was out of the west and precluded looking for our Santa Ana anchorages. But for the record, the Santa Ana anchorages are just west of Carrington Point. Note that the ground is foul and rocky. Hard place to go. Got back to Betcher's and decided that instead of taking a nap prior to our night sail, we're going to have some other activities. And the crew went swimming, and the bosun and I decided the kayaks were a better deal. The water was cold. It wasn't even 60, so the folks donned wetsuits before they jumped in. We were back aboard and briefed the crew, got suited up for night sailing. The plan was we would sail down the southern coast of Santa Cruz and into Smugglers about daybreak, maybe a little bit before, and anchor there. It stayed pretty warm all night. Humidity was just about zero and the visibility was incredible. As we approached Smugglers, we decided that this looked like a Santa Ana about to happen. You can see us leaving the area and headed out towards Anacapa. Maybe we'll go in by Cat Rock, and here that is. It was boiling over there. We had something on close to 50 knots of wind, just a handkerchief worth of sail up. We're making 9 knots basically on the Dodger. Smugglers would have been a disaster. Even the Coast Guard that was tied up to their mooring got out, got underway, and headed out. We fumbled around for a while trying to figure out where we wanted to go, and eventually headed over to China Bay. You'll see that the wind was so incredibly intense here that it's picking up the water in a venturi, spraying it up. It's a real short chop, typical of Santa Ana's. And here you see it going downwind. Looks pretty benign there, but it was sporty as all get out. We took a look at Potato Harbor, but it was impossible in there with a tremendous surge and a wind coming up over the top, pounding down. China Bay turned out to be its benign self. And here you see coming around Coach's Point, what a nice day we had inside. Well, the forecast said that we might have up to 3 days of Santa Ana. And with the wind raging out in the channel, we decided that that just might be right. Called the Coast Guard, asked them to call our homes and tell the home front that we might be a couple of days late.
As it turned out, things calmed down at sunset, and we headed for Rome with a little more night sailing. Well, if you'd like some training in advanced technique, give us a call. 805-750-7828, or look at the details of our sailing program online at sailchannelislands.com.